We're really happy so many of you are taking the time to tune in and watch our Proving Grounds videos. And we know you're learning a lot because you're asking some really good questions. To start with, we'd like to focus on 360 wave and tackle some of the most common ones that we've received. Half of you that watch the video on wave look at it as a closing system, and the other half think about it more from the application standpoint. And those looking at it from application are wondering, what's the maximum amount of gallons per acre that I can get through 360 wave? So we've done some testing on this question ourselves, and in our plots, we've consistently run as high as 15 gallon per acre of starter through 360 wave. And some of the testing we've done more recently shows we can get as high as 30 gallon per acre at 5 mile an hour running water. So the outlet of the wave blade itself that you see here in our picture, this is a .110 orifice, and we install that orifice on every blade we ship so that every wave is already pre-assembled and ready to run with 360 dash. At the same time, that orifice is not going to be limiting from the testing that we've done for the kind of rates that you're going to want to run. Whether you're running starter or a biological type product, the kind of rates that we're typically going to apply in the row unit is going to fit through wave with no trouble. Just because you can run a lot of gallons through wave doesn't necessarily mean you always should. We've been asked, what is the risk of applying salt near the seed when I'm running wave? If you think about how we've designed it, we've really kept that in mind from the very beginning. And that's where the placement of the starter itself is very key. So as we look at where we've placed our seed here at the bottom of our V trench, by being 3/4 of an inch over, that gives us a lot of protection with the risk of putting salt actually on the seed and impacting our emergence. As you well know, the risk there is the salt that's in the starter, and are we drawing moisture out of the seed and preventing it from emerging and germinating correctly. So this is the key to the entire design. By being able to push our product over, we're still able to get our root intercept to occur. As our seedling roots are growing through this, we consistently see when they find that starter band, they branch out, they mass out. We know we're getting that response, but again, we're safe because we're away from the seed. So it's not a consistent answer depending on your soil type. You know your soil types well. Some of the sandier soils with less moisture holding capacity, those are obviously where the higher risk is when it comes to running starter in general. But with the design of 360 wave, we've kept seed safety in mind, and we see it in our testing. We're running a lot of salt in our case of 15 gallon an acre, stream right there, 3/4 of an inch over, and we've not seen any issues. We know we're running in a sensitive area with 360 wave. And that is anytime you're starting to run close to the seed, which is a good thing for applying nutrients and for our closing, we know we need to be careful. And that's a question that some have asked. Are we confident in our ability to stay clear of the seed? And the answer is yes. We've spent a lot of time with the design thinking about how to run that blade at that 3/4 inch position away from the seed. As you look at the design behind me, that's where this pivot point comes in. The blade itself acts like a rudder. And the area that you could get in danger is where the planter starts to turn around a curve. And if that blade was rigid, on a right-hand turn, the blade would want to move in towards the seed. But because it's been designed to pivot, we're able to maintain the 3/4 inch distance here at the rear, where we're near the seed, and stay safe. But what about a left-hand turn? In that case, we've designed the stop in the casting itself. And that prevents the blade from being pushed into the seed. So in the left-hand turn, the stop pushes against the blade, pushes the blade away from the seed. On a right-hand turn, the pivot point takes over, the blade's able to rudder and maintain that 3/4 inch distance. So we've got it combined from both directions to always stay clear of the seed. One frequently asked question was, how does 360 wave do in wet or sticky soils? I'm glad this question came up because it's an area we've done a lot of testing. We've spent a lot of time, even throughout this summer, testing in a site in Minnesota where we had an irrigation system. And this allowed us to continuously bring water onto our test site, so we're able to recreate those sticky spring conditions time and time again. So we've had several seasons of real field experience that we're now able to combine with a test site, and it's allowed us to really go through the iterations and learn what exactly causes a row unit to plug and where are those issues that muddy or sticky soil can really cause a problem. The kind of conditions we have in Minnesota, we can even plug a standard row unit. So it's really allowed us to build the confidence in our 360 wave design to say we can run through those sticky conditions and slide right through. So in addition to our Minnesota test site, we're currently running in Texas. And we find that that is also an area that's very challenging for planter attachments. The soils in that area do a good job of sticking to anything that runs through. So between our Minnesota site, the experience we've had with lots of planters throughout the previous springs, and our testing site in Texas, we've got good confidence that the wave system is going to run right through. We often get asked about running 360 wave in no-till conditions. And this is another area where we've spent a lot of time testing. 360 wave's been designed from front to back, thinking about residue flow and how it passes through the row unit. One of the things you may not notice when you first look at the design is there's a trash shield at the front of the blade. And it's been designed because we know we need to let residue flow through. That hands the residue that's flowing through the row unit right off into the blade, and the angle of the blade's been designed so it's as flat as possible, which allows material to continue to flow through off the end. We've done a lot of testing in even freshly harvested thick matted corn stalks and bean residue in wet conditions, dry conditions, and we really like what we've seen in our ability to keep the residue flowing through 360 wave. Wear is a common topic with any kind of system that runs in the ground like 360 wave. And we've been asked, what are the wear parts? How long do they last? And again, with the design, we've thought quite a bit about wear. So as you look behind me here with 360 wave, you start with the blade itself. Obviously, that's one of the main wear items that we're going to see. And we've protected it with laser cladding. So the whole surface of the blade in the area where we're doing the work of moving that soil around is protected, as well as our liquid tube itself. And that same type of cladding is being used. It's a tungsten product. It's very hard, has great wear life. And at the same time, here at the front end of the design, our trash shield is also experiencing less, but some amount of wear. We've also protected that with cladding. And then after that, the seed firmer is the other wear component. So it obviously varies depending on the soil that you're running in. As you know, sandier soils tend to wear parts like this quicker, but based on what we're seeing, it looks like the blade and trash guard will be replaced together as a pair in that 3 seasons in typical conditions, Central Illinois type conditions. And then the firmer itself is going to be very similar to what you'd see if you've run firmers in the past. And those kind of wear performance is what you would see with the 360 firmer as well. You can tell that a lot of you have noticed the benefit that comes with 360 wave when it comes to closing. And that's because we've been asked, do I still need to even run a closing wheel if I have 360 wave? Well, I'm glad that you're as impressed with the job that 360 wave does for closing as I am, but the answer is yes. We do need to continue to come back and finish the top half of the trench. So as you saw in the video, 360 wave is closing the bottom half of the trench. But yes, we still want to run a closing wheel to finish off that top half. Now we have made the job easier for the closing wheel that's coming behind. So no matter the style you're running, I think you're going to see a better performance. And as you saw in the video, cast closing wheels do a really good job for us. We really like those. So there's still going to be a lot of choices out there. We're going to make the job easier, and yes, you would still run one of those closing wheel systems. We know a lot of you are excited to run 360 wave, and the questions come in, which models is it available for? So at this time, we can run with ExactEmerge, John Deere MaxEmerge, and Kinze 3000. And for all those planters, whether you have BANDIT or not, in both cases, you're able to run the wave. So we're excited to continue to add models in the future, but at this time, those are the 3 that we service. We've been asked if you can run smart firmers or other types of firmers with 360 wave. Now, every 360 wave comes with our firming tail attached and standard. Obviously, we know firming is very important. But you do have the option to run other types of firmers. The mini smart firmer from Precision Planting is compatible with wave, as well as any other small tails that mount in that same style. Another question we got was, is 360 wave compatible with 360 BANDIT? And the answer is yes. We've designed the brackets to where you're able to mount the 360 wave under the base of the row unit in the same area the BANDIT mounts. So they do work in combination with each other. And obviously, from a nutrient standpoint, we are really excited about that combination of, one, the benefit of wave applying starter and starting to close our trench, and then coming back and finishing out with nitrogen through the BANDIT system. That's a really powerful combination, so we definitely made sure those 2 work together. So these have been the most common questions that we've been asked. but we'd like you to continue to ask those questions as they come up. So stay tuned to Facebook, Twitter, check out the WAVE page on 360yieldcenter.com, and as time goes by, we'll be posting a frequently asked questions document where we'll pull all the answers together so you can check them out anytime you'd like.